What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Variance Authority, the TVA pod. No, sorry, CVA pod. We did rip it off from TVA, the Time Variance Authority, but it's the Cosmic.
No, it was an
Variance.
original idea. It just happened to be almost
totally.
the same.
Totally. Right, like, okay, so right before we started to sit down to record this podcast today, some big Spider-Man Brand New Day news broke out. Deadline exclusive: while production on Spider-Man Brand New Day has been paused for a week after star Tom Holland suffered a concussion on set, casting on the project continues as Marvin Jones III has been tapped for the role of Tombstone. So Tombstone is one of the villains confirmed to be in this movie. I think we have two now, like just Scorpion and Tombstone for villains. Like there's a lot of villains, but yeah, I think this is the first one that is like been confirmed besides Scorpion, because Michael Mando, who plays him, has been teasing him as well. What are your thoughts on this? So he actually plays he actually voices Tombstone in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse as well. So I would say he has the essence.
Yeah, he's well versed in the character.
Right, yeah.
I like the look. I like the look a lot.
He definitely has a great look for Tombstone.
Which,
yeah,
you know, it's one of those things where when you're pulling that together, you know, you want to feel the characters. That's something Marvel's usually and historically been very good at, and I think they're taking a little bit more time on getting back to that. We're seeing that over in the DC world. We're going to have a lot of comparisons between James Gunn and what he's doing and what Marvel's going to be doing in the future. James Gunn is taking his time and hand selecting these big casts. And is Tombstone like the world's biggest cast selection? Like, no, ultimately he's probably going to be a smaller villain in the movie. Hopefully we're expecting some pretty big names. But it's nice to see that. Villain. Yeah, like exactly. Right. He's gonna. We know what's the assumption. There's gonna be a pretty decent time jump in Spider-Man Brand New Day, where we're gonna be.
That's what we've been hearing about the beginning. Yeah.
So we'll be seeing him jump through maybe different villains. How much time do you think they're gonna be granting to that time jump? Is that gonna be a 5-minute? Hey, let's get you up to snuff, or is that gonna be a little bit more?
I don't even. I'm
like
not. Are we
getting the Fantastic Four treatment?
Well, that's what I'm saying. How long was that? That wasn't that long.
And it was way shorter than they anticipated it. They cut a ton of it. I mean,
they cut a lot of scenes. Yeah, they did. I would love 5 minutes. I don't think we get 5 minutes. I think we get less than 5 minutes.
You would like to get even 5 minutes.
I would like to at least get 5 minutes, and then I want what I've been saying at the end. I want like 20 minutes after the story ends for them to bring in the multiverse story and Doom. I almost want like two different movies.
I mean, realistically, that would be the most ideal, because it's such a big burden of this film, just naturally, to excite fans for Doomsday. Which Doomsday is doing a really good job right now of exciting fans for Doomsday, which is incredible. But still, Spider-Man's going to be, as per always, the poor character has so much on his shoulders for the MCU. Like, this is why we never get the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, because the thing that Spider-Man spends the most time saving is the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, and he does a really good job at that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I would like 3 minutes at the very least.
And how many villains do you think
of a little montage?
Or what have you heard?
I think I haven't really heard much about any specific villain. We've just talked about there's going to be a montage that kind of takes you through time. And this montage, we'll see Spider-Man get new suits. He'll fight a villain. Hopefully that villain is like strong and like kind of roughs him up, and then, suit gets ripped, makes a new suit, upgrades it, says, okay, this villain did this, I got to make sure my suit can like block that or something like that. You know what I mean? And then that takes you through just the like year. So what? They're 18 in No Way Home because they just graduated high school, going to college. So MIT for Ned and MJ, that's confirmed. We've seen the set photos. And they, at the end of No Way Home, they told us they're going there. But we've seen Ned with an MIT shirt on. Zendaya's there. So I'm kind of wondering, like, with the time jump, is it like we're jumping to the end of Zendaya and Ned being in college? That way they can come back into the picture, right? Because because MIT's in Massachusetts, which isn't far from New York, but, they're not
far
the
enough
same
to take them out of
state.
the story, right?
Right, exactly. So, do we jump forward? Is it a 4-year gap and we jump forward to the end of college for MJ and Ned, or is it just like a couple of years and Zendaya comes home for a holiday or something? I don't know, but there's going to be a little bit of a time jump there where we see him fight the villains, and Tombstone might be one of those villains, but we've been hearing about Tombstone for a while, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's one of the main villains, but...
Well, there's definitely a lot to be said for Tombstone's involvement, because they have this actor who's already voiced him, and he's got this great look. Like, it kind of fell in place. It seemed like a no-brainer. Yeah. I guess what people will be wondering, is this the MCU's version of a variant of that character in this universe? Could they potentially cross somewhere? Because there's a lot of questions around, does the animation make its way over to the MCU at some point from Sony? It was one we had in the Discord, was like, how is Sony going to be involved with the MCU? Check out the Discord if you guys want to get involved in the podcast. But that was the question, like, okay, we have all these Sony characters. Well, the best ones are all cartoons. How does that work if we want those exact characters, right? And this is a good example of how they might be able to do that. Like, not exactly the same, but it's going to have the same essence, the same spirit, which is cool. Yeah.
It does make you wonder, if he is a variant, or if it's just, hey, this guy did a great job voicing him, let's pull him in. I will say, it is kind of interesting that, like, they're pretty far into filming. They're just casting this guy now? Or are we just finding out about it now? You know what I mean?
That's a really good point.
Yeah, because it's just kind of like...
So what was the headline exactly?
Well, the headline... Marvin Jones III to play crime boss Tombstone in Spider-Man Brand New Day, while production on Spider-Man Brand New Day has been paused. It says he's been tapped for the role. Now, that could mean it just got out.
Yeah.
Or that could mean he was just tapped.
Well,
which they could very well go, hey, we have Tombstone in the script, but we haven't gotten to that yet. We have a little bit of time before we film with him. Maybe that was what it was, but I don't know.
I mean, if it's like a tiny montage, if you're saying we're going to get 5 villains in less than 3 minutes as he jumps through, enhances his suit, we kind of see what's going on. It's not going to be a whole lot of screen time.
It's not the biggest thing. Right.
But it's exciting to hear these updates. And a lot of it does go back to my interest in the marketing strategy for Brand New Day, which is a guerrilla warfare, modern arc type of marketing so far, where it's been very public. And I think the scenes that we've seen filmed, the ones where everybody's out and there's just thousands of people just trying to get a glimpse of Spider-Man running across on a tank, like, that's main movie stuff, I feel like. That's like main storyline, not the montage of him collecting himself into what he is. So there's a lot happening behind closed doors. The reason for them sharing this information is that just to keep the name of the movie in people's mouth.
Right, exactly. Like, every week you need something about,
and we're not filming now, so here.
Right. Well, that's actually the other thing. And like, the story about Tom Holland getting hurt, it's so weird because, one, you're just concerned, right? Especially because the original headlines were like, rushed to the hospital, split his head open.
That was modern day media for you.
We found out that's not the case. Right. We found out that's not the case. He did hit his head, though, and he does his own stunts. And this is why I say it's weird, because it's kind of like, you hear this, you're like, oh no, I really hope Tom's okay. But dang, it's cool that he does his own stunts. And not all of them, but he does some of them. And it's really cool. To feel that.
And I think this rendition of Spider-Man, more than any other, where one of the big things post No Way Home to now is, I think Tom has found his footing and confidence as his own advocate. Whereas in the past, it's like, Tom, you should be really grateful to be Spider-Man. This is an opportunity. A billion little boys would want to be want to be in your position. And he's like, yes, whatever you guys want. Now, and he's kind of come out and said, I have a lot of weight now. Like, people like me.
Right. Exactly.
People like Spider-Man.
I'm freaking Tom Holland.
But I'm Tom Holland. I'm Spider-Man. You guys need me. Like, so guess what?
Well, now it's 100% what it is.
Yeah, and he's used that for the good of the character, which is such an applaudable thing, because we've seen movie stars and actors and people who get into this influence kind of use it for themselves, but all he's done is talk about how he's connecting with the fan, how he's watching YouTube videos to hear what the fans are saying and learning.
Hi,
and how
Tom.
this exact, hey, what's up, man?
We
how
love
you
you
doing today? Love it. But he's using that influence to force the studios to give them what they want, which is a good Spider-Man movie.
It's crazy that it almost seems like this just new concept where it's like Tom Holland is doing something so out of the box. He's looking at what fans want. It's like wow,
why is this?
No way.
It is a Sony movie,
and that's not right. And that's not and that's not me mocking Tom Holland. Tom Holland's doing what he should do. I'm kind of mocking the studios here. Like we heard so much about Sony and Madam Web and Dakota Johnson's like they have no idea
the disconnect
what the fans want, and it's just like well Tom Holland's like. I'm gonna make sure
I know what the fans want. I'm
yeah.
Gonna give it to
so really, bravo to Tom Holland. Tom, if you're watching, bravo for real. And all the work he's putting into Spider-Man is crazy cool. Like people see these set photos and they're like, it's like real life Spider-Man. It's like, okay, well, real life Spider-Man just got real life hurt, right? It's like because he's doing Spider-Man things. So when I say I am deeply concerned for him because obviously he's hurt, but at the same time I'm like, gosh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, I want to get hurt filming a Spider-Man movie a little bit.
I would love to get hurt playing Spider-Man.
Cool.
Not really, right? But and I only really kind of say that because it says he's got a minor concussion. I hope that's the case. I hope he's okay. I obviously would have him not get hurt, of course. Who knows what's actually going to happen? I'm sure they'll comment on it because even Deadline in this article said they're taking a week off because he got a concussion.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's back pretty soon.
Well, fortunately, what I'm aware, like The Sun is a big English tabloid, and they do a lot of soccer transfer news, and it's first breaking. So I'm familiar with The Sun, but it's always like inaccurate, clickbait,
hyperbole.
Like they're kind of known for being, it's The Sun. Who's your source? The Sun. Oh, that doesn't count. Like it's typically a pretty
hit or miss,
brushed off kind of big tabloid source. So a big clickbait like title from them. It's disappointing that they would try to use that to draw attention to themselves when, okay, first off, we don't actually know what's going on. Second, you know, it's like the TMZ of England, I guess, where they're just kind of jumping in because, we have a source that told us, so here's an article. But no, I'm glad to hear that he's mostly okay. You had mentioned in your video he actually went out to an event with Zendaya. And
the next day, his charity,
he loves Spider-Man.
Which is another thing. It's like, it's like dude has his own charity. He made sure to show up for the charity, like his family, Brothers Trust.
I mean, I don't know how these guys do it. Just trying to keep up with the nomenclature of my own life, with the different sections and parts of it. I mean, this guy does what normal people do to such a magnificent, multiplied factor, and it's like, I don't know how some people do this stuff, and it's really incredible when you see them do it with such grace, because we don't always have a young actor to look up to. I mean, some will make really bad decisions, or get a little lost in the sauce, and he hasn't over the years, and hopefully he continues doing that. He goes on to become Bond or do whatever it is he wanted to do when he's done with Spider-Man.
Oh man!
But just a cool dude. I mean, I'm
but
happy
and I'm really excited for Spider-Man Brand New Day. So one thing we're gonna try to do now is work in some questions from Discord in between our segments, and I'll just go to one right now from Eugene Tan.
Okay.
I have a question. Would Jake Schreier, the director of the Thunderbolts, set to direct X-Men MCU movie? Is this going to be the chapter where Scott Summers / Cyclops will be the main character? Personally, I'm hoping that Scott Summers / Cyclops will be the main character in X-Men movie. It's time to see him shine. Yeah, no, honestly, like Cyclops might be my favorite X-Men. I would say him and Wolverine are like tied. I've always just been a massive Wolverine fan. But it's funny, as I've gotten older and I have read and seen the leader Cyclops, I'm like, I freaking love Cyclops, man. And seeing that picture from that bag from the crew member for Avengers Doomsday, I'm like, oh my gosh, Cyclops has a comic accurate. It's it's like blue. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this. And it's James Marsden, who I love. So will he be the leader? I think he'll take the active leadership role in kind of combat, while basically it's X-Men First Class with Cyclops as the leader is what I think it's going to be. So they're like Xavier's team, but in the field, Cyclops is in charge.
Well, let's draw parallels to X-Men 97, the reboot that just came out recently.
Which I loved, yeah.
That's the Cyclops that I think Fox was trying to create way back when. A lot of people talk about James Marsden coming back and kind of getting redemption. I don't know that they wrote that exact character and personality correct. He kind of came off almost, I don't know, almost dorky, like not quite.
He didn't really come like it. What I hated about it was just like, you know, Logan gets there and they do the whole thing with Jean, and like they portrayed some of it right, but it kind of seemed like it was just kind of like he was getting cuckolded somehow. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
it's
he's
just
kind
like,
of a dork.
kind of
right?
like he was the weaker man, and I hated that. Right? Yeah.
But in X-Men '97, the reboot, season 1 or 2 or whatever you want to call it, he was perfect. Like, oh my,
it was so good.
Gosh, it was amazing. And like, I think since that came out, and it came out so early, which is great because it's really leading the foundation for what we should expect for the X-Men moving forward into the MCU post-Secret Wars. A lot of people are like, can we just get this in live action? Which, you know, I hope they do a little bit of some different stuff. But I would be okay with that, you know? It was so cool to see that. And problem, probably, it's not necessarily a problem, but the issue with that is we're probably going to be starting the X-Men storyline 20 years before that. We're going to hopefully have a Professor X.
Yeah, who knows? That's going to be that's actually, I think, one of the biggest questions people wonder about the new reboot. It's like, especially with like,
where is it starting? Well,
especially with a new universe, reset universe. What do you mean reset universe? You mean we're going back to like early 1900s with Captain America? Are we starting in 2030? Like, there's a lot of questions we don't know.
Well, I think
because
go on.
Well, you can go back in time. Like if you do like Professor X and like Magneto, their stories, you go back, right? Especially for Magneto, Holocaust and everything. So it's kind of like they can kind of do what they want. And you can do a first-class storyline set in 2030 because it's whenever they decide to come out and come together for the first time. There are some things that, you know, you'd have to change a little bit, but not too much. You know, because one story they're going to do no matter what is basically like humanity against mutants.
Well, right. That's like the core principle.
Right. Yeah. So, and that's, you know, Magneto and Xavier splitting apart their different beliefs. So it's kind of like you can do all of that in modern time. The only thing I'm worried about is Magneto. Like, is he going to be 90 years old? You know, like what is this going to be? So
let me ask you this, because there's no dodging this, and I'll bring in some enlightenment, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is if you had to pick between Avengers and X-Men as your favorite team, you'd probably lean X-Men, correct?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Right, that's what I thought. So I just want to clarify that. See, I always leaned more towards the Avengers and towards that side. So my comic knowledge of the X-Men is actually relatively limited. I had some X-Men comics. A lot of them were like Wolverine standalone comics. Are there... Anybody can answer this question. Are there other stories that isn't just Magneto and Professor X? Are there other directions that we could go?
Stories.
Right. I think there's a ton of X-Men comics. So what would be something then, as a massive fan of the X-Men, that you would genuinely want to see them do if we weren't going to go the Professor X Magneto route at all?
Well, the issue is you kind of have to go that route. I mean, they're the X-Men.
It's like
Professor
the heart
Xavier. Right. Like, you know, that's what the X stands for. But I mean, Phoenix Force is like, just off the top of my head, something that I would love to see done properly, especially after Dark Phoenix, because that was like, holy crap.
That was one of the low points of the Fox X-Men, I would say, personally.
Yeah, and on that note, because I was like, that was the last thing that we got from them, but I think it was New Mutants is the last thing that we got.
Yeah,
from
but I
them.
enjoyed.
Oh, you know what would be cool?
Like
Anya Taylor-Joy. It'd be cool to see her in Secret Wars or something like that. That'd be really cool. Sorry that I just thought of that because I was thinking New Mutants. That would actually be pretty cool as Magic. Yeah.
New Mutants was actually pretty good. I enjoyed New Mutants.
You might be like one of the very few people.
You think that. You didn't enjoy it a whole lot?
Totally.
I thought it was an enjoyable film. I think it was hard because the whole thing was contained. There was no real build up.
You're talking about the right movie?
Yeah, they're all in the little school.
It's got a 37% on Rotten Tomatoes.
But I'm leaning on y'all again. Am I the only one that liked that? I thought it was kind of fun. I would have liked to get a continuation of the story. But it does have
a 55% on the popcorn meter, which is the audience.
Okay, I might be on one.
I didn't think it was absolutely terrible. I'd watch it over like Madam Web and Morbius and Kraven the Hunter.
Okay, good. I'm not that off touch then. I'm like, I remember really. I watched it literally the one time in the theaters. It almost had to be with you, And I
No,
remember
I
thinking,
watched it alone. I remember it.
okay, well, I don't know when I must have watched it.
Wait. No, maybe I didn't. No, maybe we did watch it together. Yeah,
Well,
I
I
think we did
recall
watch
it
it
having
together.
been fun, and that's a lot
When
of
did
the
I watch
times.
alone?
I'm like the worst movie critic. I might be the worst person in the space of criticizing movies because mostly it's like, did I have a fun time? Yes, it's a good movie. Like I'm not sitting there like usually nitpicking.
I
too
mean,
many
and
details.
I think that's fine. I think sometimes we do nitpick a little bit too much. Nitpick.
But yeah, on
I mean,
Taylor-Joy showing up would be a real little treat, and I feel like she would be about it. I think she liked that role a lot.
yeah, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. So speaking of, well, actually, this is like pretty bad segue, but
That's okay. We'll Paul Blart this segue.
I want to, right. I just want to ask if you've watched The Peacemaker. We talked about it
Yeah,
a tiny
of course
bit.
we did. We both had. I mean, I was terrified for a specific moment, which I don't know if you're going to address, but.
I mean, we don't really have to go into spoilers, but if you're talking about Eagly, people should know by now that somebody's after Eagly.
Yeah.
That was a cool moment. But what's interesting is like, I thought it was a good episode, but it didn't like blow my mind. Like, I think you said so, and like a bunch of other people were like, this was like an incredible episode of Peacemaker, and I enjoyed it, but my mind wasn't blown. Maybe it's because everyone told me my mind was supposed to be blown.
Probably.
That I went in there.
Certainly.
Right. I don't know.
There isn't like a
was,
big reveal, right? There's not like,
there
oh my gosh.
I don't
here's
even
this
think there's like a
information.
big, right. And it's not even like a big ending. It just
I think I
kind
just
of
like the pace of it. I think that was kind of, if I recall what I can't remember if it was on the live when we were talking or just privately, we were talking about it, and I was really excited for how fast and how well James Gunn is like telling this story, which is what I remember liking about the first Peacemaker season. It just moves in a forward direction, and that's one of my personal complaints about a lot of the Disney Plus episodes. Is you watch an episode and you're like, why did I need to watch this, and now I need to wait 7 days for the next one? It feels like we would use the term filler episode, but I like the pacing of Peacemaker, and now from what happened in this last episode, I'm pretty confident the next one's gonna be really cool. So I'm like excited for that
I think like the next 3 are the ones that are supposed to be like truly mind blowing, like or have like really big ramifications for the DCU and builds up to Superman.
And we actually just got a report from James Gunn a day or two ago, where
Brainiac,
and they were like, "This is going to have big implications for the DCU."
Oh, you're talking about James Gunn said that about the ending of Peacemaker.
So it's that's kind of cool. That's exciting. It's something in Disney Plus. I mean, look at She-Hulk, look at Ironheart, look at a handful of other ones.
She-Hulk. I'm not looking at She-Hulk ever again.
You might not have to. We can talk about that in a minute.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That was what was on my list.
No.
But you watched the whole thing. You kind of ate your vegetables, got through the filler episodes, got to the end, and you're like, what did I learn about the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Which is what made Marvel popular. No, it doesn't have to have anything to do with it. Moon Knight's a perfect example of that, and it was still good. But like, what did I watch?
You
want to
feel it's progressed.
I don't feel any
progression. You want to feel when there is a story that is clearly like building to something. You want every episode to give you that feeling, like you have progressed in the story. Like what you watched is important. And the last episode of Peacemaker did give you that. Like I said, I did like it. I liked it a lot.
You just told a lot of people it was going to be crazy, and it wasn't really that crazy.
This was like the best episode of Peacemaker so far. I don't know if it's the best.
I don't think it's the best episode either. I liked
it a lot.
But I think my general excitement just comes from our current relationship with superhero TV shows is, that was episode 4. It's going to be...
Sure, right. Yeah. No, you definitely don't feel that with any of Peacemaker.
And I don't really know what's going to happen in 5. Is it going to be worth being excited for? But I'm genuinely like, let's go see what's going to happen, because this has really had some true internal conflict. Again, James Gunn is the absolute master of creating emotional value for characters that you've seen for very little time or don't know that much. I mean, I'm sitting here freaking out over a CGI bird, but like genuinely concerned, And that's
Eagly's not real.
And that's
they didn't train that eagle to do that stuff.
I wouldn't know if it's a duck or an eagle or a parrot.
Yeah, right.
But that was the applauding and crowning achievement of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and that was all James Gunn. Like the emotion you have for this team that nobody, I don't care what you say, you didn't read Guardians of the Galaxy comics. Like you didn't know the Guardians of the Galaxy until James Gunn put them on the screen, and you fell in love with them because of the timing of the comedic entrance, but then also the serious moments, which is exactly what Peacemaker is so good at. There's some serious moments where he's, you know, having conversations with hardcore or trying to have some internal conflict where he's figuring out what he needs to do. Obviously speaking in code, so I'm not spoiling it for anybody. But it's so exciting, and I'm just happy about that excitement. I'm never excited about, you know, I think Moon Knight and Loki are the only Disney Plus shows. Maybe WandaVision, because WandaVision got a little weird in the middle, and I'm not really knew what was going to happen next. But Moon Knight,
plus Mephisto.
Yeah, right. We're sitting there guessing, and they kind of like guessed us fake things the whole time, so we would get excited for the next
there
episode.
were so many signs for Mephisto.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you guys just want it to be Mephisto so bad. I'm like, guys, there were so many hints.
We should do like a rewatch and like really tie
should.
it all back to Mephisto. Now they already confirmed that there was never plans for it, but now I mean he's here now.
No, but they knew we were talking about it, and that's the difference.
Oh, of course. Between
what Disney probably ultimately will regret having done and won't be doing moving forward. We saw it with Red Hulk. We saw it in WandaVision. They intentionally tease how important characters, or even if characters are going to show up, and they never clarify it for you because they know we're talking about it. Mephisto's they know what they're doing, whether anybody want to admit it or not.
Of course.
And it's just building you up for this big disappointment, right? And the thing that nobody will believe, and that's why these podcasts are so cool, because they're raw, they're real for anybody interested in like the behind the scenes of what's it like to be a Marvel YouTube creator. Like those were genuinely real ideas. Like we weren't just throwing out the name Mephisto because we knew people.
No, like legitimately thought that's what it was going to be.
These shows, WandaVision in particular, came out at 3:00 in the morning.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
We would do a live stream. We would record the whole episode so we could have the footage to edit. They are 30, 40-minute long episodes. So we're sitting there at now 5:00 in the morning, dissecting the episodes together. Like, okay, well, what does this mean? Because this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Surely these TV shows like have the same weight. And then by the 4th, 5th, 6th series, we're like, wait a second, these just aren't what we were told they were going to be. They're just a little disappointing.
Well, you know, and to your point, I even saw like a comment the other day that was like, Wanda's a Nexus being. I'm like, they never really confirmed that. They gave us that Nexus little commercial. I'm like, but who says they acknowledge that at all?
No,
maybe that was just
won't.
an Easter egg, right? And that's like kind of like, it's like a double-edged sword, because it's kind of like you can have these Easter eggs, but since you are the MCU, people expect them to actually be connected to something, right? Not just thrown in there for the sake of being thrown in there.
Oh, they said Nexus we like sometimes. Okay, forget it now, guys.
Well, right, but that's a really big thing, right? It's kind of like you can't just be throwing Nexus being out there. Like I think it would be real. You just can't be throwing Murderer out there.
Which was a good series, and I think if I'm being completely genuinely honest, in part, I often when I'm going through like my favorite Disney Plus series now with hindsight, WandaVision's probably fallen back on the list. Because I was having so much fun with it because it was first, and I'm like, oh man, this is going to be a great fit. And then we kind of realized this isn't what they wanted us to think it was. So WandaVision's fallen down on my list overall of my favorite. Might be my 4th favorite now. But yeah, you're throwing around Nexus being and Mephisto and all these other like hints and teases.
And
like,
then you
House
threw
of
in,
M. And,
right. And then you had the other Quicksilver, but not the Quicksilver.
Ralph
Boner.
Like,
right. So you're just kind of like, you can't do it just to do it. Like, why?
But that was what
I still question why they did that.
They did it just
to
do
it. But we're in the multiverse saga, and then they give us that character who's nothing.
Who's Ralph Boner?
Who's nothing. Yeah, I guess he's Ralph Boner. Good for him.
Good job. That's a real upgrade from your last role.
Yeah, right. Like it was just weird. It was just weird.
It is interesting because the more we're sitting here discussing it, and this was not the intention of this conversation, we're talking about how good Peacemaker was. You really do look back in hindsight over the last 5 years, and you're like, Disney Plus was such a mistake for Marvel. Like, it was so unhelpful for the expectations of the fans, because they kind of just, and maybe I'm being over aggressive here, but they kind of just took advantage of the fans so they could hit a quota because that's what they were supposed to do. And it was Disney more than Marvel. I get that. But it just has really taken away the trust fans have in them. And that's where the superhero fatigue comes from. It's like, you kept giving me all these shows and feeding me this fake teases that never led to anything? How many post-credit scenes do we have that have no resolution? Like, we're just sick of being disappointed by this marketing that leads to nothing.
Well, that's where I think actually the big mistake came from the choices of what to actually do for Disney Plus. Yes, they did too much, obviously. Yes, they were trying to capitalize on the ultimate peak of Marvel, which was Infinity War and Endgame. But like, if you like She-Hulk, cool. I didn't. I thought it was really dumb.
Okay.
I just really didn't like it, right? And it's not the only show I didn't like.
No,
and I would never pick on anybody for I would never pick on anybody for liking it, right? I always say I wish I could like everything, but I don't. But I just kind of think like, what was your decision process of like making She-Hulk and also making it to where each episode was kind of like a sitcom, but then you still kind of had a story connecting, but then you ditched that story at the end by her breaking the fourth wall. And I think that was just the worst thing I've ever seen from Marvel.
That was the ice pick through the brain, the whole Kevin Feige robot
the
thing.
ending of She-Hulk, right? Yeah. And I didn't really like, I really did not like Ironheart either. Mephisto was the best thing about that.
Well, I was gonna say, what were the legs that carried that? Mephisto.
I didn't like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I actually think more than anything, I didn't like Secret Invasion, because I've read Secret Invasion in the comics. First of all, that should have been a movie, and they should have done Disney Plus shows to build up to the big Secret Invasion event, because it's one of the biggest in the comics, and it's just like that, and like it wasn't even. Like they didn't like the only thing that you could say was Secret Invasion were the Skrull. But besides that, like, yeah, it was just stupid. So this is where I say they just made bad decisions about what to do the shows about, and it was just kind of like bad decisions on, like you said, giving us stuff that really didn't lead to anything.
There's no payout, and
then especially after they're like, all right, Kang's gone.
Yeah,
we're bringing in Dr. Doom. And it's like, okay, so Loki built to what? You know what I mean? It's just kind of like
Loki just got rid of Kang, Lauren. They threw that sentence
now I
in
think
there
it's just, I think they're going to retcon it to where it's like, well, Doom made the Bengals, Miss Marvel. Come on,
I don't disagree.
Doom made the 10 rings, right? I even think they're probably going to say like, Kang stole from Doom. At some point in time, he ran into Doom, stole some tech, and that's why Doom hates Kang and he killed all of them. That's what I think.
That's an easy way to go about it, and
it's very easy. It makes sense.
Yeah,
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see some stuff.
The comics would support it. Kang and Doom, and this is probably
they run into each other.
Yeah, this is probably a less known detail. So if you're not like well in on your Marvel comic lore, but Kang and Doom interact a lot, in the sense that they're constantly almost like one-upping each other, and they have lots of conversations about, I'll destroy you one day, and he's like, oh, not if I destroy you first. And there's a whole storyline where Kang, and correct me if I'm wrong, Warren, I'm sure you will, kind of creates his suit based off of a version of Doom that he doesn't even realize is Doom. Like, it's a really complicated history. Unfortunately, everything right so far?
No, but it's okay.
Okay, no, tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong. I'm not as versed in the comics. I've always said that.
So through like time travel and stuff, so Nathaniel Richards runs into basically like a time displaced Doom. They talk. They like think that they're probably related to each other in some way, and that's like kind of the thing. Depending on what story you're looking at, Kang is either a descendant of Reed Richards. Mm-hmm. Or Victor Von Doom. I mean, Kang's real name is Nathaniel Richards, which is the Reed Richards' father's name. But Kang and Doom run into each other. Kang or Nathaniel then becomes a Scarlet Centurion, and that armor he models after Dr. Doom's armor.
Okay, so I was almost close.
Right.
But the point of it is, there is a lot of precedent if you want to talk about,
Oh yeah, well, especially just that thing we just talked about right there. That is, enough. That whole like, making the Scarlet Centurion kind of modeled after Doom. That is right there is all you need actually for Doomsday, right? He ran into Doom somehow, and instead of like modeling after him, he stole tech from him and stuff like that. Yeah,
there's a setup there for that, but the actual problem that Marvel's running into is the the comic storyline that they're going to end up following here is running out of time, or time runs out, because not the story, but because of the title, because they're running out of time to explain this. Like, time is literally running out for them to
It's going to have to be a long movie. It's going to have to be a long movie.
Unless you're saying, oh yeah, that Kang guy stole my tech, but I have it back now when I wiped him out. End of Kang. And it's... That's all you're going to get, because there's not time for anything else.
Right. You almost have to just do like a flashback of him killing Kang.
Ugh, it's so
I mean, it's kind of like you said, time, or it's a 4-hour movie, which I'm here for. Just give me an intermission. Just give me an intermission. I got to pee. That's all.
We need that secret Marvel movie so bad.
I would like there to be a movie between Doomsday and Secret Wars, or a Secret Wars Part 2.
Yeah, for those of you who haven't followed...
Could you imagine real quick if they don't actually announce anything, but when you finish Secret Wars, it says will continue in Secret Wars Part 2.
Avengers Battle World or something?
Right. You would have to say it beforehand, because people would be pissed off in the theater.
Oh, you'll have another one of those no payout moments where people are like, are you
right, exactly. So you'd have to say it beforehand, but it would be pretty cool if they just like something like that. Or like at the end of Avengers Doomsday, they say Dr. Doom will return in Avengers Secret Wars Part 1. And then you're like, whoa, there's going to be a Part 2.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean? They should give us something like that. They should give us something like that.
Yeah, and that would be super cool. For those of you who might be joining for the first time, we've been discussing at length, Warren and I, and probably a lot of other people, there is time and ample opportunity and enough people at the same place at the same time filming stuff for them to literally be filming an entire secret movie. Like, everybody's there. Sure. Pinewood Studios is completely disconnected from everything. Marvel has definitely increased their security as far as the leaks that are going to... I mean, Spider-Man Brand New Day is ironclad. As much as everybody might feel like we're getting a ton of information, I genuinely believe we've been given that information.
I was going to say, they're giving it to us.
Exactly. And Doomsday's pretty close. There have been a decent amount more leaks that probably weren't meant to come out about Doomsday, with a lot of the unboxed PhD photos and a few other internal details that have gotten out. But even still, it's way better. I mean, the amount that we already knew about Infinity War and Endgame at this point was way more than we know about Doomsday.
Well, right, because you think about it, it's kind of like, okay, we see Sentinels in like the X-Mansion. Okay, like, we know the X-Men are going to be in it. They announced them in their chair video.
Right, so it's really not that big.
Like we know that. And like Sentinels, X-Men, Doom uses them to attack, cool.
That makes sense.
But we don't know that story, right? Like, we speculate and theorize, but we actually don't really know the story. So not much revealed there, especially because we knew. The only thing I would say, and we haven't seen any, like, I would say true photos of this, but we've seen the old house that Captain America and Peggy are supposed to be in. We haven't physically seen them, though.
You mean Luke Cage's house?
Like, yeah, Luke Cage's house.
Codename Luke Cage's house.
Codename Luke Cage's house, yeah. But that's supposed to be their house, but we haven't seen them. We haven't seen Haley Atwell. You know, we haven't really seen anybody on set.
We have seen Chris Evans looking mighty fine.
That's what I was about to actually say. We've seen Chris Evans looking pretty dang good, looking like Captain America. Yeah. But we have not seen... There's been a few fake photos, and of course, with AI, that's just something we deal with now.
I was going to ask you about that. That was on my agenda for today.
Yeah, it was something like... It was like James Marsden with somebody, right?
Yeah,
I think that was proved to be fake.
There's been a whole new thing of photos right now, and this is the world we live in, and nobody's sure if they're real or not. Have you seen the makeup artists? Like, Toby's face was all
fake.
I have the same feeling, but you've seen Doom with the cut down the middle of his face. Know. But it's
right, yeah.
So that I thought was a really big leak, but then everybody's like, no, these aren't real. Like, nobody's actually said they're real. They just got out.
You can't really tell.
No. So there are.
And you know what's funny is and before AI, we were still dealing with this. Like, remember the John Campea leak with the 3 Spider-Man? We're like, oh, it's Photoshop, blah, blah, blah. And, like, if you look at that, it looks Photoshop because it's a literal leaked photo.
We knew it wasn't Photoshop.
Lighting's bad. All this. Yeah.
That's actual lore. That's actually what he said.
That's what he said.
Look at his bulge.
He actually said dick, but...
Well, I was being nice, but yes.
Okay. Well, just so everybody knows, and apologies if younger people are watching. I feel like that needed to be said, because that was like, what? Because that's what he really said. I feel like that needed to be said.
We are living in a wild time of movie speculation.
Well, that was before AI. And we were thinking it was fake. Now we have AI. We're like, what?
Like, we're screwed.
No idea.
We're screwed. And
Right.
honestly, Marvel has the technology, Disney has the technology and the ability to make as many realistic AI-looking crap as they want and just throw it all over the internet. More
and
now
you
than
know
ever.
what? They should. They honestly should. If they want to hype it up and you want to confuse people and have them have no idea what's going on in the movie, put fake leaks out there. Because I have fun talking about it all, and I think most people do have fun talking about the possibilities of everything, right? So,
I mean, we've had tons to discuss about Doomsday, and I think what you were getting at before we start talking about the AI is a really good point. A lot of what we know is connecting the very few dots we do have in a way that makes sense to our little brains. Because we're like, okay, well, Doom, what's Doom's motivation? That's question number one, right? If you're writing the movie, question number one is, okay, what's Doom's motivation? Let's start there and work backwards. Okay, well, he's mad at incursions. Okay, well, Chris Evans is in. Like, how are we connecting the dots? But a lot of that is wild speculation, wild, swing and maybe a miss, because we haven't gotten much, and maybe they still don't know how the movie ends, and that's why. But
that's actually what I was going to say. A point that I actually like to bring up every now and then is because we've seen this in retrospect. People are like, oh, this insider said this and it never happened. Only for like a year down the road, Marvel reveals that actually was originally going to happen, but they changed it. But everyone's like, oh, those insiders are fake. And don't get me wrong, we do have our like handful of insiders that we follow and mostly report on, right? And they're not, no one's 100%.
No. And there are a couple that we don't even bother getting off the couch for when they return.
Right. It's like, that could literally just be made up, right? Like, I've literally seen things that's like, oh, this person, like somebody on like Reddit or something would be like, oh, I posted a theory, but then this guy played it off as real. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't need to ever look at anything that person says again, right? Mm-hmm. The issue is I do think legitimately a lot of people out there have sources, but it's kind of like the money thing. They do like Patreons and stuff like that. And they're like, well, I just have to throw stuff out there to get people to sign up for my Patreon. And in the mix of that is real things, but also in the mix of it is maybe speculation that they think has a high percentage of coming true.
Yeah, how much info could you possibly actually have?
I mean, I've had sent to me during the Infinity War and Endgame time full like synopses that weren't made to the public that were 100% real. So it's kind of interesting. And I'm like, I don't know. Did this come from somebody from Marvel? I don't know. It's a random email who says they watch me.
Yeah,
I don't know who it came from.
Too. That was crazy.
Right, yeah. I don't know. But it ended up being real. They sent me one for Star Wars that I sent to Star Wars Theory, and that ended up being real. So it's kind of like, I don't know. Stuff leaks a lot is the thing. Like, think about how many people
on this project. Yeah.
I was going to say, think about how many people work on sets. Stuff just gets out because some people think, oh, I can tell my wife or my girlfriend or my husband or whatever, and they won't say anything. But then they tell their friend who loves Marvel, who mentions Marvel, and hey, oh, my husband's working on the set, and oh, he told me this. It's going to be so good. And then that person goes to the internet, right? Because what do they care?
No, and then what's your source? It's like, well, my cousin's brother's sister's roommate is the makeup artist for Robert Downey Jr. But but that doesn't make the information not true.
Exactly. But then at the same time, you have these guys who just sit on the internet and they're like, I'm going to create a fake rumor today. Right. Yeah. And it's and it's a bummer because it's like,
well, that's
I heard somebody say,
weed it all out.
Well, I heard somebody, or I read something online. It was like, oh, I created fake, and this was like a while ago. I created this so all the like the scoopers and the YouTubers and everybody would report it, and I could prove it's fake. It's like, you're only hurting like the audience, the people who love this stuff, right?
That was on No Way Home, right? I think I remember that specific one.
There's been a lot of times.
Yeah, there was a big one on No Way Home that got out, and everybody was like, whoa, because a lot of people were kind of like mixed and confused, and then he came out and was like, no, this wasn't real. I made it up.
I made it up. It's like, okay, for what? Oh, like you're hurting everybody. Like they think they're like trying to take a shot at somebody, but it's just kind of like, okay, like my average views aren't super high, but you take a higher channel like Emergency Awesome, who averages, hundreds of thousands of views, and they report on that because they report on rumors and stuff too. And it's out to hundreds of thousands of people now. You're not attacking the YouTuber. You're giving false information and false hope to the people watching. Right.
And a lot of these YouTubers, like in the realm from the Cosmic Wonder all the way across the board, right? They're not the ones for the most part with the direct sources. People, and they
No,
all know
we're
people.
reporting.
You're reporting the news.
Right.
Like I'm not coming up. I'm not calling my friend Steve who works at Pinewood and sharing this. I'm reporting what's out there. And I just think it's super interesting. But it was yesterday, maybe this morning. It's a bit of a blur for me right now. But somebody's reporting, like legitimately report, Kang will show up in Avengers Doomsday. And My Time to Shine Hello, who's hit or miss sometimes, it's like, no, 100% not happening. So you're like, like the insiders are disagreeing about what's happening here.
Well, and the issue is things can change. So somebody
Also
might have
true.
outdated information.
Also
they
true.
both could be right technically based on what they've told. Right. But one is, could just be, one could have a legitimate source who told him or her something 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, okay, I'm going to say it now. I waited. So like, oh, something happened on set and then it gets out. That's a sure way to go. Okay, somebody here leaked something. But if someone goes, hey, this happened on set, wait a few months to report on it. Then it comes out, but then everything's updated from another source, and that person's like, no. Who knows?
No, definitely. There was one topic that, before we try to cycle over, I want to talk about, and it's not to get political, so everybody relax. It's simply a question, and it actually has to do with the Hulks. Well, both Hulks now.
Mark Ruffalo?
Mark Ruffalo
he's very outspoken.
and Tatiana Maslany have both now kind of protested
Disney. From Disney Plus or something, right? Yeah.
So Tatiana Maslany specifically said everybody
literally said
from
cancel
Disney
your Disney Plus. Yeah.
I don't think Mark Ruffalo was quite as direct, but he got up and he made some comments which were kind of anti-Disney. My initial thought when I saw Tatiana Maslany's thing was, has she been told she's done with done being She-Hulk? Have they decided they're going a different direction and she's now aware of that? Because somebody who knows they're about to make a ton of money for showing up in one of the biggest cinematic events in the history of the planet Earth probably isn't protesting Disney Plus, which pays her paychecks and gave her these opportunities. So when that initially came out, I was like, oh, she's kind of been hacked. Like, she's gone. Like, they've told her, hey, nobody liked you, and she's maybe not taking it so well. And that's kind of part of the uproar. That was my thought. I was wondering what you were thinking about that. Because she did show up in concept art.
Right, that's the thing. Is she showed up in the Secret Wars concept art. I mean, it's the classic "don't bite the hand that feeds you" type of deal. But maybe the hand's not feeding her anymore, like you said, right? Mm-hmm. I did think originally, I was like, this probably means the end of She-Hulk. Whether that is she's already done or this now. Ultimately, right? Yeah. It's so hard because you really wonder what studio. Like, okay, think of Rachel Zegler. Who absolutely was a combination of her in the public and Disney making just terrible decisions about the dwarves and stuff like that bombed the movie, right? So many people didn't go see the movie because of what Rachel Zegler said. So studios know, especially Disney, because of that. That's all Disney. Studios know. It's
almost always Disney, actually.
Right, that the actors and stuff for things can ruin a project. So, especially coming out off of all of this, maybe they're like, screw you, telling people to unsubscribe from Disney Plus, how we make our money.
How we paid your bill.
Right, exactly. They kind of have every right to say screw you. Right. But I think this whole thing started because of free speech. Mm-hmm. Free speech. Again, we won't get into the politics of it, but she has the right to say whatever she wants, but Disney, the narrative is consequences. Is that what we've been right? The free speech, consequences. People have free speech, but also employers have the right to do whatever they want for the most part. Right? When it comes to hiring and firing. So
and this isn't
she can say that.
This isn't the taking of a side or even an opinion of it, but
no, it's not right.
Free speech is just the protection from the like she's not going to go to jail for saying that. Which in England, like tons of people go to jail for tweeting.
You can. Yeah, no, you can.
There are lots of people have been arrested for tweeting stuff. That's the free speech. Is you're protected from being prosecuted by the land because of something you said. Like you're good. But Disney is they all about dollar bills. Mickey Mouse. Right,
exactly. That's the whole. That's the biggest thing.
And that goes across so many different laws.
Right. Maybe she just doesn't care because she's been fired already.
Yeah, so you talk about gun laws. Great, the country allows you to carry a gun. Utah's open carry, Florida's open carry, both places we live. But if Walmart says you can't have a gun on our property, You don't have that right
Right.
anymore.
It's private. Right. Yeah. It's a private entity. Yeah.
And it's the exact same concept. So when that was said, because I was very initially surprised, I'm like, whoa, like that seems aggressive. Then I thought about it, I'm like, maybe she's a little salty because something happened. Maybe. But then Mark Ruffalo kind of jumped in, and I know he's pretty vocal about his political beliefs.
He's very vocal. Yeah.
But then I'm like, would they fire? Is Mark maybe a little bit more cemented in that he can say that, and they know he's going to say it? Because Tatiana Maslany's no Tom Holland, where Tom Holland can kind of wave his weight around a little bit because we would miss Tom Holland.
Right.
I don't.
I'm not sure I'd miss Mark Ruffalo.
Not as many people would be missing She-Hulk for sure, and maybe not
I don't
even
know
that
how many people would, but I wouldn't even miss Mark Ruffalo. I mean, you could CGI the Hulk the exact same way. When he was cast as the Hulk, I was like, okay, like, and don't get me wrong, he does a good job, but I wouldn't particularly miss Mark Ruffalo.
I have a feeling
because we just get another actor to play a Hulk.
Probably not making the jump anyway.
I don't think he goes up to the new one either, and that's why I say, like, I've already come to terms that we're gonna get a new Hulk anyways. I don't care.
What if our Hulk gets destroyed by a variant Hulk who then takes his place?
Cool. Because they've butchered the Hulk. They've butchered the Hulk over time. You know what I mean? It's just been terrible. So it's like I've been disconnected from the Hulk for a while. Which is why I don't care. And then you gave us She-Hulk, and I'm like, okay.
It just got worse.
And then you gave us Daredevil doing the walk of shame.
No, I forgot about
whatever.
that.
Yeah, whatever. Decisions were made, and you question those decisions. And it's the same thing. Tatiana Maslany made a decision. Will it affect her or not? Who knows?
Repercussions, yeah. I'm curious about it. I did just think, because, like,
she might not face any.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, she might not face any. You know?
Did she
I don't care
either
way.
She did get a chair.
No, she didn't.
She didn't get a chair? Okay, I can't remember.
I don't think so. There's no way. No, because then we wouldn't be having this conversation. She wouldn't be fired. Right. She might have got fired before because, I don't even... She-Hulk.
I'm looking it up because I actually don't remember.
It's a 5.2 out of 10. Yeah, 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. No, 32% from the audience, though. That's worse than New Mutants.
New Mutants is great, Warren.
Right. Yeah, and I know a lot of critics, especially Rotten Tomato ones, I can see how it got 80% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, did it actually?
For the critics, it got 32% for the audience. Critics,
what it stood for, and
a lot of critics, take into account a lot of things like that, and it's just kind of like, okay, but was the show good itself?
Does it represent the fans? That's the question. Does this project represent the fans who are watching?
What the fans want?
And
is it good?
Objectively, as a critic, part of your job is to research what that means and understand it, and they just really don't. Critics just do and say whatever they want because they already have that status and that ability, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, some of them are, it actually does, like, I could get approved to be Rotten Tomatoes critics pretty easily probably, and I don't care to do so, right? So we also, it doesn't matter. I do want to get to one question. If it's possible, you can bring this up in your next podcast episode. Dan the Man from Discord.
Aye.
Truly hope Toby is in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Sadie Sink could hopefully play Mayday. Wonder if Kirsten Dunst will MJ cameo. I really hope Peter says Mr. Stark. That's what I've been pushing towards. I really want Tom Holland's Peter Parker to see Doom and be like, Mr. Stark. Even if it's not in Spider-Man Brand New Day, at some point in time when he sees Doom without the mask for the first time, I really want him to say that.
It's a real raw emotion in that.
Everything you said, I actually just really want to happen. I want Toby to be the father of Mayday Parker, who is played by Sadie Sink, and I want MJ to make an appearance too, whether that's at the end and he goes back home, or they all go to the same universe. I don't know, but I want that. Flashback, anything. Don't even care. That's what I want.
We actually might be the number one advocates for that on the internet. I want the Mayday Parker, Tobey Maguire involvement more than almost anybody. I want that so bad. And I've heard some really cool things for Sadie Sink, what she might be or what her potential involvement could be. Some really fun theories. People have gotten very creative with it. But I would still want to see her be Mayday with Tobey over any of those by a long shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Here's another question. This is an interesting one. Juna RJ. Case study. Imagine being involved to produce, write / direct Fantastic Four First Steps from the beginning. Then you decide to produce James Gunn's Superman and both get released at the same time. What would the struggle be? I I'd have to think about the struggles, but I almost consider this as a win-win. I mean, both were, I would say, successful movies. Both were good movies, in my opinion. Actually, both were great movies, in my opinion. So to be attached to both would be really cool, would be really great. I guess the struggle would be, if you're doing both at the same time, is that time, your time and dedication that you would have to commit to both of those. That would probably be an overlap with filming and stuff like that. That would probably be the biggest struggle, but I would consider that a pretty big win.
I can say this is a really big win. I would say one of the biggest
absolute win.
Struggles for that ideology, and something we see commonly in Marvel, and that the earlier days of Marvel did really well, is the voice. Like when you see different directors and writers taking on a project, you really can see their hand in the project. Like with the Russo brothers, for example, like they have a style. James Gunn has a style. So if you're doing Fantastic Four and you're doing Superman now at the same time, releasing them at the same time, the biggest struggle is how do we create original movies that are different? Because there's no question, Fantastic Four and Superman, very different films, very different ideas, very different purposes and jobs that they needed to create.
Both looked very comic booky though, which I really liked.
Yeah, that was definitely a big thing that, James Gunn is pretty big into, is the comic book connection and respecting the heritage of the character. But I think that might be one of the biggest struggles, because in the Infinity War saga, they discussed the pyramid of directors, right? And how there was like a ranking system, and the Russos were like near the top, and Kevin Feige was above them, and then all these other people who were involved in writing the overall story. But they did such an incredible job collaborating with each other, and that we lost big time once we started throwing Disney Plus and all. Like, the multiverse is a perfect example of that. We have 19 different rules for the multiverse, none of which have been officially confirmed, and none of them make any sense. Because there's been no... Why did all of these directors sit down in a room and say, hey, why don't we write the laws of the multiverse together and then go write our movies separately? Because they did not do that. And in an Infinity War saga, they would have. 100%.
Well, wait. Isn't... Wow. There's a group at Marvel. They have a name. I can't remember the name. Their sole responsibility is to make sure continuity in the MCU is...
Well, they've all been on vacation for 6 years. It's the board, right? The chair or something like that. It has like some ominous name like that.
I almost want to say Illuminati. I know that's not what it is. Continuity Marvel group. Too bad we're not live. I'm sure somebody would know.
Oh, I'm sure somebody would know.
Oh man, it's called something.
It just says Kevin
they
Feige.
have.
Nah,
I can't find it online. I can't. Yeah, I'm trying to look for it. Kevin Feige.
Because now I'm curious. Because this is a really good point. Because I think this is somewhere in there, the behind the scenes, where things just got too big and too difficult to keep together. Kevin Feige was spread thin. A lot of these people who Marvel leans on were spread thin, and we lost that knit group.
But they have that group, and it's basically, it consists of people who have been at Marvel for a really long time. And
I feel like it was called something
they
like the
named
board.
it something, and I know it's named after something in the MCU, but I can't find it.
No, I can't either. We'll have to make a note somewhere in the comment section.
Oh no. No. Okay, well, we'll end with one question. This is from Eugene Tan again. He wants to know, it's an interesting question. There's a new Street Fighter movie coming out from Legendary Entertainment. Capcom and Paramount Pictures is filming in Australia for Gears of War. Would you say that these two projects happening at the right time when video game adaptations are finally being taken seriously? Like, basically, the way I interpret this is, are video games, particularly movie adaptations of them, about to become a really big thing, and are they going to be done right? That's always the biggest question to me. Are they going to be done right? Right. I mean, we have the Mortal Kombat 2 coming out, which I'm like on the fence about. The Street Fighter cast seems pretty crazy so far. Have you seen anything about that?
I'm a little behind on that one.
It's pretty cool. They have some really interesting people in there. Really, yeah. Look it up right now. Actually, well, I'm still trying to figure out this freaking name.
Jason Momoa. Who would have guessed? Oh yeah, that's a pretty 50 Cent. Okay.
50 Cent, right? Yeah.
It's a pretty stacked cast. Oh, Oliver Richards. David Dastmalchian. I sat next to him at Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't remember. I sat right next to him.
No, I think it was like She-Hulk or something. I think it was something small.
Was it something small? I thought it was something.
I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? What is there? It's making me so mad now.
This is just the rest of the podcast is us googling the answer to this.
Yeah, all right. We won't put you through that, but you saw the cast of Street Fighter, right?
Somebody put it in the comments section.
Yeah, please. You saw the cast though, huh?
Yeah, Cody Rhodes. What a dude. Yeah, that's a cool cast. I mean, this looks super fun.
It's a very interesting cast, very interesting cast. So
I want to go back to what the actual comment in question was from Discord, because I think it's a really interesting take. Like, we're in a time where these video game movies are being taken seriously. Yeah, because they're making big boy money now, and that's what matters. And I think in the past, video game movies have just been kind of kitschy. It's like, oh, we have an audience for this because all these people played this game. But now, with the Minecraft movie, Mario Bros,
Minecraft movie was a
the Sonic
success,
saga, like these movies were huge. But you look at Mortal Kombat, which wasn't exactly in this exact era, but pretty close. But what was the problem with it? It didn't really feel all that Mortal Kombat-y. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it kind of was a little disconnected. And the problem is Mario and Sonic were animated. Minecraft wasn't, though, for the most part. There's a lot of CGI involved in it. So what was it? What was it that Minecraft did to grab the community and create such an overwhelmingly fun event? And can Street Fighter do that? Right? That's the question. Because I don't know that my initial thoughts are, yes, it can. It doesn't mean it won't. But it's just a different type of video game movie. If that makes sense.
Well, I think there's always been the fans of like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, and I think those fans are going to be really excited to see that be adapted. But it all comes down to, is it going to be adapted well? To me, that's the biggest thing. So it's kind of like, I think it can literally go either way. That's just the thing. It can go either way. If these movies are good, but even like look at Mortal Kombat, they have not really produced great movies in the past. And even the first one wasn't that great, but here we are with the second one still.
Are these the same people
because there
that
is
did
still
Mortal
a want
Kombat
from it?
That are doing this one?
I believe so.
Legendary, yeah, Legendary.
Yeah. So there's still a want for it. There's still demand for it, and I think people do. I don't know, because I'm a big fan of The Witcher, but now with everything going on with The Witcher, and even with season 3, I didn't like that much. So it's like, now I don't want to watch the new Witcher season.
Yeah, why would?
It's the same thing with people from The Last of Us, really not liking what they did with The Last of Us. And people didn't even like The Last of Us 2 game, the decision they made. In case anybody is avoiding spoilers, I won't say, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. They shouldn't have even done, like, people hated that about the second game, and they shouldn't have done that in the second season, but they still decided to do it. And it's just like, it really just depends. Like, you have to stay pretty true to the source material, in my opinion, and you can't really switch things up, and you just have to do it really well. So,
but then to add to that, from like where I'm sitting, the other really important thing is you have to be able to connect with people outside of the main fan base, which is where it gets really, really hard. I mean, the Minecraft movie was maybe 4 or 5 really funny sentences away from maybe being a flop, But we as in the planet Earth, were able to create this almost cultural movement where I believe people who didn't even have ever played Minecraft were able to connect with it through modern day media and social media and marketing. People were like, oh, I want to go experience what's happening and rush to the theaters because they knew it was fun. But the heartbeat of that was the original fan base. Right? If the original fan base didn't go through and hype up what was created with the Minecraft movie, which, don't get me wrong, it's like a dumb, goofy kid movie, which is great, but it got people excited. People went to the theater. People had an absolute blast with it. And I guarantee you, we will be getting Minecraft 2, 3, 4, and 5 because of it. Now, will they be as good? Maybe not, but they're going to be made.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what these video game movies need to do is, yes, you need to connect with the heart of the fan base, but then that fan base needs to connect with everybody else who didn't play Street Fighter, which is a decent amount of people, to really turn it into a cultural movement for it to have those legs to be exciting and successful. Because Minecraft without Chicken Jockey or without Steve's Lava Chicken, like, it really pushed an entire film to be as successful as it was, and it's really wild. It's insane.
It also has to do with the actors and stuff. Well, and I think with the Street Fighter movie, it's got a lot of big name actors.
Jason Momoa is in Minecraft.
True, yeah. Like I said, that totally matters.
It does matter,
and
100%.
People, yeah, and like Jack Black and everything. So it's kind of like, it's got a really big cast, but it just comes down to the story, because if it sucks, people are gonna hate it. But I think we are in that era where we're going to start to see that happen a lot. I think we are going to see, like, Project Hail Mary is a book adaptation, right?
Project Hail Mary.
I think we're just going to see that a lot. I actually think Hollywood is creatively starved right now. And the original stuff they do put out is not very good, in all honesty.
Not all that original.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we just really do need, like, a new franchise that people can get really... I get, yeah, right.
Let's go on.
That people can get really into.
Can't be vampires, wizards, zombies, superheroes.
I would always lean to fantasy with
Lord of the Rings
with
style.
like everything combined. Well, yeah, but like more magical than the adaptations for the movies, like a lot more magical. So, and put, elves in it more than they were. Put different magic in, like magic with wands and stuff like that. You can add in some, well, actually it's really cool lore about Lord of the Rings, is like the gods and everything like that, like the 5 wizards and everything is like so cool. But I don't know, I just like that fantasy stuff.
Well, it's been a while since we've gotten something new and fresh. And another thing now we're doing cliffhangers. We're going full post-credit scene Marvel, because we are out of time today, and I definitely do not have the time to get into this, but the recent reports that Voldemort being a woman is not off the table. That is where we're starting next week, everybody. Make sure to be here for that, because I have... Oh, well, I'm sure that'll be a fun conversation.
I'm just going to say no. Don't. Just shouldn't do it.
But we talked a lot about Marvel and DC today because there's just been so much news about it. But we will be discussing, like, Street Fighter, bringing in the movie question from Discord. Fantastic. We're going to be, branching out into a lot of other stuff. And there is actually a lot to talk about as well. Harry Potter... upcoming movies coming out, like so much fun stuff. And so jump in the Discord and feel free to throw the stuff you guys are interested in. Not a professional knower of all things, but I'll definitely give you my 2 cents. So thank you for watching to the end of the video.
We are opinionated.
I have opinions.
I have a
theory.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us this week. Hope to catch y'all next week. Subscribe, hit the Discord up, contribute if you want, and we'll see you next week. Peace.